Many workplaces contain spaces which are considered confined because their configurations hinder the activities of any employees who must enter, work in, and exit them. There are many instances where employees who work in confined spaces face increased risk of exposure to serious hazards. OSHA believes that failure to take proper precautions for permit space entry operations has resulted in fatalities, as opposed to injuries. OSHA notes that, by their very nature and configuration, many permit spaces contain atmospheres which, unless adequate precautions are taken, are immediately dangerous to life and health. Therefore, it is mandatory for employers and confined space owners to implement the highest standards while considering to work inside the confined space. This course is based on the OSHA Standard 29 CFR 1910.146, which deals with how to work safely in confined space. By definition, confined spaces are all those places in the industry which has the following features: large enough to enter and work, limited openings for entry and exit, not designed for continuous worker occupancy. OSHA categorize the confined space in two types: non-permit confined spaces and permit-required confined spaces. Non-permit confined spaces are all those which has no or tolerable risks. Company procedure highlight that these can be entered with minimum control and without work permit. Permit-required confined spaces. These confined spaces carry serious hazards in the industry and have high risks level, therefore these are controlled by strict safety procedures and falls in the category of permit-required confined spaces. All these type of space shall be fixed with danger signs on the confined space. Further, confined spaces will be divided into two possible conditions by hazards: atmospheric condition and IDLH conditions. Atmospheric condition. Normal hazards that can be removed by regular activities such as isolation, cleaning, ventilation, and any other normal activities that can bring the confined space to normal atmospheric condition. IDLH condition. This condition is immediately dangerous to life and health, such as oxygen deficiency, hazardous or flammable material inside the confined space, inert condition. If confined space is in IDLH condition, it shall be brought to atmospheric condition to enter into it. Note: if IDLH condition cannot be changed and still entry is necessary, then a special team of workers who are trained to work in IDLH condition shall be applied for entry. There are two basic methods to enter in confined spaces: vertical and horizontal. Vertical entry usually require a tripod and hoist system located directly above the confined space opening. The worker wears a harness with a lifeline attached when entering the space. In this type of entry, harness and tripod is used for the purpose of fall arrest and rescue in case of emergency. Usually workers access the confined space by a monkey ladder and lands to the floor of the space while anchored to the tripod system. If monkey ladder is not available, workers may be lowered by tripod system until they land on the surface of the confined space. Horizontal entry. It is simple in nature. Worker enters through the side manways of the confined space. Entering in this way, worker lands on the internal surface of the confined space. If emergency happens, rescue team members will enter in the same way, remove the affected person from confined space. Preparation for confined space. Most commonly, 5 parties interface with each other to carry out the confined space entry job. 4 of them have seamless coordination and work for the common goal to carry out the job safely without any unwanted incident and delaying the schedule. Therefore, each party shall have clear understanding and appreciation of hazards before starting the job. 4 of these are: Area Authority Operator of Confined Space. Entry Supervisor from Maintenance Department or Contractor. Entrants who will work inside the confined space, attendant, or safety watch. HSE is the fifth party involved indirectly who oversee the safety aspect of the job. Once Area Authority decides to carry out any maintenance job on the subject's space, they will shut down the equipment and prepare it to bring down to a LARP level and followed by handing over to Maintenance Department. During preparation, Area Authority will do cooling, depressurizing, purging with nitrogen gas, removal of toxic and flammable gases, de-inventorying, cleaning, isolation of all incoming and outgoing lines, isolation of all types of energies, opening of manways, ventilation, and air movement to bring the confined space to atmospheric level. If HSE department has a prescribed role and permit to work system, HSE representative will carry out the inspection normally for safe environment and ensure that confined space has been brought to a LARP level. Once both Area Authority and HSE are satisfied by the safe condition of the space, it will hand it over to Entry Supervisor to start the job. Confined space entry shall be carried out under approved work permit procedure. Once Entry Supervisor takes over the space, he will prepare a formal work permit for approval from Area Authority. After completion and approval of permit, he will assign the crew for working inside the confined space. Permit to work document contains date and time of issue, task details, and equipment to be used, where to work, hazards identified, and controls in place, recommended PPE to be used, gas testing and readings, job hazard analysis attached to it if applicable, any other additional permit cross-referenced if needed. Area Authority is responsible to bring the confined space to atmospheric conditions by taking different actions, to discuss and plan the job with Entry Supervisor, to discuss the hazards and controls in place with contractor or his own Entry Supervisor, issuing of work permit, overseeing the overall entry operation and to give logistic support to the Entry Supervisor. Entry Supervisor is responsible to plan and discuss the job and take all critical information about the confined space from Area Authority, obtain work permit for confined space, prepare AJHA if needed, prepare a team of entrants, assign an attendant, directly supervise the entry operation, give important feedback about the space to Area Authority, conduct a toolbox talk. Entrant is responsible to take as much as information from their supervisor to work safely, understand the permit requirement, understand the JHA, be aware of the work condition, participate in toolbox talk. If they note any unsafe condition they shall inform to attendant and evacuate the place. Use the PPE appropriately as per requirement of permit to work. Time to time communicate with the attendant as necessary. They shall evacuate the space if attendant or supervisor call them to exit form confined space. Attendant is responsible to communicate with the entrance, inform them any changing condition around confined space that may harm them inside, maintain the safety and warning signs wherever necessary related to confined space, knows the hazards that may be faced during entry, watch the entrance for possible behavioral effects of hazard exposure in entrance, warn unauthorized persons to stay away and control them from entering in the space. If any emergency happens he shall inform to emergency team and perform non-entry rescue with the rescue team. Maintain a list of entrants. At the end of break or work ensure that all entrants are out of confined space and block the entry point. Communicate with entrants as necessary to monitor entrance status. Monitors activities inside and outside for the safety of entrants. Alert entrants to evacuate in case of need for any abnormal situation inside or outside of space, not to perform any duty that might interfere with the attendant's primary duty. Employer is responsible to maintain overall safe working place for all stakeholders, provide all necessary support to carry out the entry operation safely, assign a rescue team including first aider and lay out a rescue plan, provide all equipment to be used for safety of worker and to maintain safe working condition. Make a confined space entry procedure and work permit system that includes the guidance and instructions how to engage in confined space entry job and how to prepare work permit. If HSE department has given a role in the confined space entry operation, usually they will perform the hazardous gas testing, verify the safety condition of workplace, and advise if any additional action to be taken for the safety of the workers. If they are satisfied with the control measure, they will give the safety clearance to work. Once job has been completed, entry supervisor will do the necessary housekeeping and prepare to close the permit. He will inform to area authority for completion of the job. Area authority will inspect the job location. If satisfied, both entry supervisor and area authority will sign and close the permit. Emergency response is integral part of confined space entry. All responsible parties shall ensure that emergency team is available. Emergency team may be inside the company or outside of the premises. Emergency team must have the knowledge about the confined space. Team must head drills to practice the rescue operation.